Ms. Ong, if I may call you Rose, if you don't mind. I know we've known each other for a while.
Yeah.
How are you? And thank you for making time for business and politics.
I'm good, and still in the expansion mode, especially during after and before the pandemic,
Well, we're very curious about how Wilcon is doing because, as I said in the introduction, construction, home development, that whole sector, which you are serving, is a barometer for the economy. Now, a lot of experts are saying that after last year, we may not be growing as fast, but maybe it should come from you. How are things at Wilcon now, and how do you see the future, maybe beginning with this year?
Okay, so far we're doing good. In fact, we benefited from, at the onset of the pandemic, everybody was like challenged, but we're serving the basic needs.
Right.
Home improvement basically is serving the needs for shelter. So everybody's dream is to, have their own home. And even during the pandemic, people diverted their attention and focus on home, especially
home improvement.
Yeah, when we were all locked down. Remember that time that we were all locked down, and there's
I know Manila times we did a lot of office improvement.
Yes, not only, but the home has been the center of everything. It has been the center of commerce. It has been the center of all activities, even, wellness and cooking and everything. So people really are centered in the home. So we see a surge in demand for home improvement products. Initially, during the pandemic, it's more of the soft categories. And, Wilcon is known for hard lines for construction. Really, when you're renovating, building your space, you go to Wilcon. But we were able to adapt. We were so agile and fast in adapting to the needs of the market. So we're still able to serve, even if it's, soft requirements. Like when you talk about soft, it's more like, small, home improvement items, things that, beautify, and you do some small repairs or renovations.
Right. Now, if I remember correctly, last year, Wilcon grew by something like 50%. You made something like 850 billion pesos last year. Do you think that is possible again this year, or that was more of a bounce back from the pandemic years when everything was locked down?
Actually, this year I would say is going to be a challenge.
Okay.
Because of the base effect, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, we have a very high base last year, and of course, even if there's still the headwinds that you mentioned, the external pressures that's still affecting us. There's still inflation; it has not tamed down, and of course, interest rates still high, So, basically, I guess the challenge for us really to at least, grow in a modest way, like not very aggressive as what we did last year, basically.
I was going to say, I mean, Wilcon has been growing phenomenally for many years.
Yes.
And yet, if I remember correctly, it had very humble beginnings. Maybe, how did it come about? I mean, and is it correct, what I said earlier, that you are modernizing the Filipino hardware? Because there are more things at your store that are probably familiar with department stores, even IKEA and things like that are very different from hardware. But what is the correct way to maybe, describe Wilcon these days?
Okay, Dante, we're a 45-year-old company, going 46 this year. So basically, if you recall, hardware at that time, it was like very disorganized, topsy-turvy, and then if you need materials, you have to go from one store to another store. So what we did is that we revolutionized the industry. So we transformed, and basically the evolution happened, at the start we're in. We wanted to provide convenience to our customers, to the market. So our value proposition is really to be a one-stop shop destination. You don't need to go from one store to another store. Everything is housed in one roof, and that's how we modernize it. And of course, aside from, offering products, because early on, it was not easy to access products. You have to go to Hong Kong, especially,
especially the quality products.
Yeah, the quality ones, And basically, we're not really a manufacturing country, Only a few of the construction materials or home improvement products are being produced in the Philippines. So you have to have access, abroad, like you go to Hong Kong, you go to Singapore. So what we did is that we wanted to offer, these products, that the market needs for them to be able to build their dream spaces, So basically, it's going back to what what the vision and mission of the company is, to help improve, renovate, and refine the homes of every Filipino in a comfortable and sustainable life.
Well, was that by design, or did the Wilcon that we know now sort of evolve, that way, but was it really the vision from the beginning? This is how it would look like 45, 46 years ago? No?
Well, initially, of course, the vision would be to be able to, I'm sure when Mr. Bello started the business, though, his intention was really to trade, to provide the products, no? And as you go along, as you evolve, as you transform, no, you go into the market, you try to get the pulse of the market, what the market needs and wants. So you have to be relevant, and you have to adapt to what they need, especially, as I've mentioned, during the pandemic, no? I mean, even during the challenging times, we still, try to be accessible to the market, no? We still continue with our expansions. In fact, during the 2 years of the pandemic, 2.5 years of the pandemic, we opened 26 stores.
Wow.
Yeah, so
we're
we're close to our I would say medium-term target of hitting 100 stores by year 2025, and probably we'll be able to hit it before the 2025 year.
Where are you now? I mean, in this year, 2023, are there plans to open more stores, and where?
Yeah, of course, we still have plans to open more stores.
Okay.
We want to be accessible to the market. We want not just our products, but basically the services, no? So it's really more of giving that seamless shopping experience, whether you're online or whether you're offline, because as a result of the pandemic, we try to marry both, no?
Right. And what's interesting about your expansion is that you're going now outside of Metro Manila, in fact, outside of Luzon.
Yes.
Right, and that's pretty exciting, which suggests to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the development that we're seeing is really happening across the country rather than just in Metro Manila. Is that your impression?
Yeah, we pretty much covered, Luzon already. In fact, NCR, Metro Manila, we have so many stores already, And now we're trying to be accessible to the market, no? Especially, by the way, we have two formats. We have the large format, which is the Wilcon Depot, and then we have the small format, which is, getting closer to the community. Those that are looking for basic items, home improvement, just small repairs and small renovation. So basically, as we go out of the country, as we go out of the of the Luzon area, I mean across the sea, we want to be relevant in the sense that we want to fit into the market with what they need, giving them the right product, and of course the right quantity and the right,
Did you make a slip there, Wally, or was Wilcon thinking about going outside of the country?
Sorry, my bad.
That sounds exciting.
Well, it's exciting, but basically,
is there a dream to go outside of the Philippines?
Not yet now, because the plan really is
there's so much more opportunity.
There's still lots of opportunity in the Philippines, no? As we see, we're only 86 stores, and we're close to 100 stores, and we still have a lot of room. There's still a lot of untapped areas. I mean, we've covered pretty much the primary cities, but we still need to go to the secondary and the tertiary cities. We want to be accessible to every Filipino.
Right. And I understand that traditionally your products are sourced from abroad, but I was wondering how the pandemic changed that, because there was a lot of disruption, right, with supply chains. Was there an opportunity, for instance, to source more locally? Is that something that is even possible? I mean, is Wilcon doing anything to maybe encourage, let's say, maybe bamboo farmers, furniture makers in Cebu and whatnot? Is there an opening now for more local suppliers to do business with Wilcon?
Well, we're open to supporting local suppliers. In fact, most of the products that are being produced in the Philippines related to what we offer, like for example, home improvement products, like for example, tiles, sanitary wares that are being produced in the Philippines, we patronize them, we offer them to the market. But basically, we're not really a manufacturing country. There are a lot of products that are not being produced here, but we have to source. So on your question on how we face the challenges, there's so much disruption in the supply chain. chain. Of course, many are dependent on China, and China was closed for a long time, for a while, no? So what, I don't know if it's by design or by luck, at that time, at the pandemic, we have very rich inventory, actually.
Okay.
So we have so much inventory that we're able to serve the market, even if, we're disrupted. And of course, maybe because of our experience, as I've mentioned, we're 46 years in the industry. So we know already how to work things out, So we were able to have access to suppliers, And then, of course, we adapt that strategy of just in case instead of just in time.
Okay.
So we have, we have more inventory because just in time you just have enough. And of course, with the disruption, definitely you won't be able to serve the market, Considering the lead time, considering all the different, the timeline and all the challenges that you face, I mean, it's across the sea, So I guess it's by design. And even prior to pandemic, we're already discussing, how to diversify, not just, concentrate on one country, but basically diversify the sourcing, So we're sourcing from different countries now in Asia, not only in China, but also in Vietnam, in India, and also in Indonesia, and of course still Europe for our tiles, especially for the high-end tiles.
Right. One of the problems I heard from some manufacturers is that when they have good products they want to sell abroad, the problem is really filling the orders because it's so huge, right? How is it with Wilcon? Are they able to work with you and maybe in I guess in more realistic quantities, or is it similar to dealing with now? Wilcon has become a size now that's similar to selling to like a foreign retailer now.
Yeah, we have to compete, especially when the economy opened. I mean, we have to compete with the bigger economies.
Right.
So, I mean, you have to get the full production line.
Right.
So maybe we're lucky because of our scale. We have 86 stores to serve. So we were able to beat the minimum order quantities. So we would be buying in bulk. Just to be able to, to navigate, just to be able to serve the market, So I guess it's our scale and the experience, coupled with, of course, the confidence that we will be able to serve it, and that the market, would need the products that we bring in.
Right. One of the things that we saw was innovation. Is there, in retail, are there going to be changes in the way people shop at Wilcon in the future, or what's in store?
Well, what's stake really coming from the pandemic is that people now are comfortable browsing.
I see.
We've noticed that most of the customers, unlike prior to pandemic, they would spend a long time and they would hop from one store to another store, canvas, check on prices. But now, I guess, maybe we have been a trusted building partner for them. So when they go to the store, they already have a list.
Okay.
I mean, it's so easy for them. Okay. It's so easy for our people to serve them as well. So probably what we sense is that they would browse first, check online, and then the online store really complements whatever we have offline. So it's really more of providing an option to the customer. Initially, before the pandemic, we'd never really take seriously getting into e-commerce, because the type of product that we sell is that customers want to have the feel and the sense of feel and touch,
experience.
Especially when you're building a house, when you're building a space, you need to coordinate with the functionality, you need to coordinate with the texture, with the colors, and of course the sizes and everything. So you really have to mix and match products. It's not like something that you buy off the shelf and then you make a decision. So but then I guess what we did with the e-commerce, what we did with our online shop, providing that experience as if there's also in the offline store. So basically we've introduced different features. Like for example, when you go to the offline store or the brick and mortar store, you'll be assisted by our customer experts, and then they will guide you on the number of tiles or number of boxes of tiles you need when you're, if you have a tile requirement. So what we did with the online store, we have a tile calculator. So you just key in the area and of course the space, and then they can compute automatically. But of course it's still different when you see the product up close and very personal.
Well, that's how I did when I did my bathroom makeover. But
yes.
We'll just have to take a quick break. We're talking to Rosemarie Bosch-Ong of Wilcon Depot. This is Business and Politics. We'll be right back.